June 13th, 2026 at exactly 6:27, 6 seconds p.m. in the heart of Washington, D.C. A cosmic clock strikes zero. To the untrained eye, it's just another summer evening. But in the unseen fabric of our reality, an ancient energetic alignment has just locked into place. This is the exact moment of Donald Trump's 80th solar return. 80 years ago, on June 14th, 1946, Donald Trump entered this world under the high exposure brilliance of a total lunar eclipse, a blood moon. He was born to live his life in the absolute, binding glare of the public eye. But as he hits his 80th year, the cosmos flips the script. His 2026 solar return features a phenomenon that astrologers view with absolute awe: a pitch black closing new moon taking place directly in his 10th house of career, executive power, and public destiny. The transiting sun and moon are locked into a dark embrace at 22 degrees of Gemini, just moments before a total astronomical reset. The light that fueled his public persona for 8 decades is being systematically turned off. For a leader who survives on visibility, this is a total cosmic blackout. The blackout is only the first phase. Look to the base of his chart, the 4th house of home, privacy, final outcomes. This is where the dark moon Lilith is, moving through the sign of Sagittarius. In astrology, Sagittarius rules the ultimate institutional weapons, high courts, supreme judges, international borders, immigration, and physical missiles. Many believe Trump's legal battles are a thing of the past, but the stars say that they are his immediate future. This 4th house, dark moon, forms a brutal, unyielding opposition to his 10th house Gemini sun. It acts as an active, aggressive roadblock. The past is not behind him, it's standing directly in front of him, waiting. Every single executive move he attempts to make on this public stage triggers an immediate, devastating counterattack from the judiciary standpoint. Federal courts are already freezing border policies, stripping executive funds, overriding his authority. The foundation of his home base is turning into a legal quicksand. As the public blackout intensifies, a second war erupts in the shadows of his financial empire. This is the battle for the vault. Trump was born with a massive planetary alignment in his 2nd house of liquid cash, personal wealth, self-worth, his assets, his corporate contracts, and his financial ego are heavily anchored here in Libra. But right now, an aggressive, highly calculated army is launching a siege from the opposite side of the sky. Transiting Saturn, Neptune, Vesta, and Pallas in Aries are occupying his 8th house of debt, taxes, legal judgments. This is a coordinated financial execution. Transiting Saturn forces structural accountability on hidden liabilities, freezing his cash flow. Transiting Neptune acts like acid, dissolving the illusion of his permanent wealth. With Pallas, the asteroid of high strategy, and Vesta, the marker of sacred focus, fueling this Aries attack, outside forces are using weaponized, hyper-calculated legal strategies to systematically dismantle his corporate alliances, his asset portfolios, and his non-disclosure protections. Simultaneously, the fire spreads to his inner circle. Transiting Mercury and the asteroid Hygeia are marching through the sign of Cancer, moving directly into his 11th house of public networks and alliances. As they march, they cross directly over his natal Venus and Saturn conjunction. This triggers a massive, tense opposition down into his 5th house. The 5th house is about his children, his family legacy, and his grandest international ventures. This alignment pulls his family, specifically figures like Ivanka and their international development, straight into the line of fire. Hygeia represents a forced purification, a medical or structural intervention. The secrets hidden within his political and business networks are being purged. This forces a painful public restructuring of his children's roles and strips away their long-held immunity. And hovering over all of this is a slow-burning, multi-year Titan transit. Transiting Pluto in Aquarius directly is opposing his natal Pluto and the hypothetical powerhouse trans-Pluto in his 12th house of Leo. Some internet theorists have whispered about hidden children or secret lineages, but the astrology reveals something far more dangerous to the global elite. The 12th house is the psychological basement, the vault of state secrets, backroom deals, and invisible enemies. Pluto in Aquarius represents the absolute, unyielding power of the collective global banking cartels, international intelligence structures, and systematic networks. This rare Pluto on Pluto opposition is a slow-motion wrecking ball hitting his private vault. Over the next few years, it will systematically unearth his hidden financial controllers, his foreign bank accounts, and his deepest sovereign debts. The illusion of his total independent power is being shattered by the very global networks he fought to suppress. As we approach mid-June, the entire energetic grid of global leadership bottlenecks into a single critical coordinate, 29 degrees and 55 minutes. In astrology, the 29th degree is known as the anaretic degree. It is the master threshold of urgent, fated completion, heavy psychological pressure, and unavoidable choices. On June 17th and 18th, transiting Chiron, the wounded healer, reaches exactly 2955 of Aries. It acts as a master cosmic key, turning inside a global keyhole, unlocking a simultaneously crisis for three major world powers. First, Chiron triggers Donald Trump. He was born with his Leo ascendant at exactly 2955, the precise degree where the royal fixed star Regulus, the heart of the lion, sat at his birth. Chiron in Aries forms a perfect razor-sharp trine to this point. Because the ascendant rules the physical body and the outward projection of identity, this hit brings raw, undeniable exposure to his health, his vitality, his personal safety. It strips away his armor, forcing him to project a hyper-vulnerable yet viciously defensive fighter persona, just to survive the immediate institutional onslaught. Simultaneously, the second line fires directly into the chart of King Charles. The king holds this exact same terminal degree, 2955, but it's in the sign of Gemini, occupying his 11th house of global networks, alliances, and the public collective. And sitting on that degree is his natal Uranus, the planet of sudden shock, lightning-fast disruptions, and institutional collapse. As his Chiron activates this point via a tense sextile, it delivers an abrupt systematic shock to the British monarchy. It is an unavoidable crisis of continuity, striking at his physical capability to lead and sending shockwaves through the entire global network of the crown. But the third line reveals the ultimate geopolitical wild card. The Republic of Turkey carries this exact same master degree. Its natal moon sits at exactly 29 degrees 55 minutes of Gemini, locked deep inside the 12th house of secrets, shadows, and institutional control. In world astrology, the moon is not a leader. It is the soul of the collective public, the emotional state of the population. For over a century, the deep anxieties and true voice of the Turkish people have been managed, restricted, and kept behind the closed doors of state narratives. Chiron's exact hit acts as a cosmic lightning rod piercing this house of shadows. It is the ultimate whistleblower transit, and it is about to blow the lid off of the Middle East. This brings us directly to the Turkish Powder Keg. The Gemini New Moon doesn't just pass by it, it detonates inside Turkey's 12th house, fusing directly with that volatile 29 degree, 55 minute public moon. The whispers of the collective suddenly become loud shouts. Gemini rules communications, news, trading, transit corridors, and data infrastructure. With the new moon illuminating the house of shadows, hidden state operations, black market financial channels, and secret diplomatic backdoors are dragged ruthlessly into the light of day. Information leaks out across borders at a speed the government can't control. And then transiting Mars charges into Gemini, adding pure explosive fuel to this 12th house fire. Mars is the planet of war, physical aggression, and cutting actions. When Mars joins this alignment, the public's internal anxiety transforms into active, boiling rage. The digital information war spills directly onto the physical streets. Expect massive state enforced internet blackouts, severe social media restrictions, aggressive cyber warfare campaigns as the government tries to choke out the spread of truth. But Mars in the 12th house is the signature of the underground fighter for Turkey. The leaks will continue from places the state cannot map, and this will begin on June 28th. But Turkey's executive leadership will not back down. The Republic of Turkey was founded with an iron willed, hyper defensive Scorpio sun in the fifth house of national sovereignty. Scorpio leadership does not compromise. When threatened, it locks down. Turkey's central government is currently facing a crushing multi year 90-degree square from transiting Pluto in Aquarius, sitting directly in their eighth house of foreign debt, inflation, and global banking. The nation is caught in a brutal financial squeeze play as global banking cartels put immense pressure on Turkey's unstable currency and foreign debts. The Scorpio leadership will react with absolute authoritarian defiance. When we look to Turkey's Cancer ascendant, the ruler of its physical land, its literal soil, and its borders, to survive the internal information war and the external financial siege, Turkey will put its borders into complete lockdown, deploying physical military forces and tearing up international treaties. The country is transforming into a geopolitical fortress, defying both Western banking systems and internal dissent. As the summer heat peaks, the cosmic squeeze play targets the bank accounts of the global elite. Transiting Venus in Leo moves into an exact brutal opposition with Pluto in Aquarius. This is the ultimate financial tug of war, personal sovereign wealth versus collective corporate control. Venus rules money, assets, luxury, values. Leo demands independent control, golden empires, and absolute personal loyalty. But Pluto in Aquarius rules the unyielding power of the collective system, taxation, global financial institutions, and digital compliance networks. This opposition creates an intense crisis where large corporate networks and global institutions attempt to freeze, tax, or completely seize the private fortunes of wealthy elites. Hidden financial scandals and secret contracts are forced out into the open. Watch how this transit hits our three global players. For Donald Trump, Venus in Leo lights up his 12th house of hidden vaults. Pluto in Aquarius forces intense legal and systematic pressure through his sixth house of daily battles. He is fighting a desperate defensive rearguard action to protect his personal brand and private liquid cash, while the legal system attempts to bankrupt his operations. For King Charles, this opposition hits even harder, cutting directly across his second house of personal wealth, his eighth house of inherited crown, assets, and taxes. Venus in Leo demands the king protect the private estates of the royal family, the Dutch of Lancaster, and the traditional golden splendor of the crown. But Pluto in Aquarius glares back from the house of public taxes. The British public and parliament, facing massive economic shifts, are demanding total transparency. This transit triggers aggressive, inescapable scrutiny into royal tax exemptions, hidden offshore investments, and historical colonial wealth. The financial secrets of Buckingham Palace will no longer be hidden behind royal protocols. And then the cosmos pulls the ultimate breaker switch. August 2026 arrives, bringing a double eclipse gateway that acts as a wildcard detonation for this entire global alliance. The first blow will land on August 12th. The total solar eclipse blanks out the sky at 20 degrees of Leo. In astrology, a solar eclipse on a leader's vital degree represents a literal eclipse of their power, sudden fall from grace, collapse of alliances. This eclipse cuts a physical path across Europe and the Atlantic, hitting all three of these subjects with terrifying precision. For Donald Trump, this eclipse lands directly in his 12th house of secret deals, sitting right on his natal Pluto. The light is turned completely off on his backroom agreements. The hidden networks, foreign bankers, foreign backers, and dark money alliances that supported him behind the scenes will suddenly see him as an immediate institutional liability. And to save themselves, they will likely pull their funding, vanish into the shadows, leaving him fully exposed. For King Charles, the eclipse slams directly into his first house of physical identity, his personal authority, his visibility. This is a direct crisis of the throne. The eclipse darkens his personal vitality and his capacity to rule, creating an immediate structural vacuum at the head of the British monarchy. The global networks and Commonwealth nations he relies on will look at the weakened crown and actively turn their backs, choosing this moment to break away. And for the Republic of Turkey, this Leo eclipse throws a hostile, combative, 90-degree square directly onto their 20-degree Scorpio sun. The executive leadership of the nation, feeling entirely cornered by Western financial systems and political betrayals. And Turkey's leadership will react with absolute Scorpio intensity. They will officially tear up their international treaties, seize foreign corporate assets within their borders, and abandon their Western diplomatic allegiances completely to forge an aggressive, independent path. But the universe isn't finished here. If the Leo solar eclipse on August 12th isn't this direct blow to their public power and egos, the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on August 27th is the emotional and spiritual tsunami that washes away whatever is left. Pisces rules the vast ocean of the collective subconscious, the unconscious, hidden betrayals, prisons and hospitals, institutional confinement, and final irreversible endings, acceptance. A lunar eclipse here forces a brutal, unavoidable emotional reckoning. The cosmic trap, set weeks prior, now snaps completely shut. For Donald Trump, the Pisces lunar eclipse floods his 7th house of open partnerships, legal contracts, public alliances. Pisces dissolves everything it touches. This transit represents the ultimate devastating betrayal by those closest to him. Legal agreements dissolving into nothingness. Key business partners turn states' evidence to protect their own skin, and his public alliances completely disintegrate into the mist. The master negotiator is now left standing entirely alone on a crumbling legal battlefield. And for King Charles, the Pisces lunar eclipse washes over his 8th house of inherited wealth, legacy debts, the deep psychological shadows of his ancestral line. This is the house of final surrender. As the eclipse darkens the Pisces sky, the hidden generational secrets of the royal family are dragged from the vaults into the public domain. The emotional, moral weight of the crown becomes too heavy to bear, signaling a profound, deep-seated crisis behind palace walls that no amount of legacy wealth can fix. It is the house of endings, and the tides are coming in. And for the Republic of Turkey, this eclipse strikes their 9th house of international law, foreign alliances, and national ideology. The Scorpio's leadership aggressive attempt to isolate the country and seal its Cancer borders completely backfires. The chaotic, dissolving energy of Pisces creates total destabilization in the foreign policy. Their international treaties are rendered useless, leaving the nation spiritually, economically, and diplomatically adrift on an unstable world stage. August 2026 is the ultimate 2-part cosmic eviction notice. First, the Leo sun blinds their executive power, fractures their financial structures, and then just 2 weeks later, the Pisces moon rises to dissolve their final safety nets and wash away their illusions of control. The chain of trust among the global elite is then broken. Personal loyalty means absolutely nothing. The old world order is fracturing, and the dark cosmic clock is ticking down to zero. The question is no longer how they will maintain their power. The only question left is who will survive the cleanup.